Hello and welcome to an exploratory devlog. This is my first live devlog, and it should be going live now. And I'm going to double check it on my phone as well to make sure everything is working here. Just to make sure the audio sounds good. Okay. Now I'm not seeing it show up on my search results actually. If you're here already, welcome. Here it is. Okay. Okay, I think the sound is sounding pretty good. I think the audio is working and the video is working as well. Make myself a little bit bigger here. A little bit tiny. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, so please be patient a little bit. I'm just gonna get this all going here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on a little bit of music in the background just to have like a nice atmosphere going. So, and I'm also gonna play the music at the same time so I could hear the music going at the same time as you. Okay. All right. I also have a there's a watermark on my video, and I don't really want that watermark there, but I'm not sure I could take that watermark off now that I've already started it. I'm not sure why that watermark is there. Well, I'll have to deal with it for now. Yeah, I can't find out what the deal with that watermark is. So I'll just I can put myself on the other side since I have the watermark over there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yes, that should look a little bit better now. Alright, now I'm going to get the music going. Let's get it going at the same exact time so I can hear exactly what you're hearing. Alright. There we go. Alrighty, well, welcome everyone. This is my first live stream for my new game. It's called Exploratory. Alright, so I have a lot to work on today. Here you can see my Godot screen here, and basically my game is almost entirely code. So really in my editor I don't actually see very much at all. All of these items here are just temporary just because I was doing some debugging earlier. Okay, so what I don't need is I don't need those two trees there. So I'm going to delete these two trees. I was testing out using kinematic body 2D trees versus tile map trees, and I think I'm going to go back to the tile map trees just because tile maps seem to be a lot better in regards to performance. So I have these two trees, which I'll just delete the nodes. They're already seen, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so I'll open up the game. Let's see how this works if I open it up and click play. Okay. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to go to project settings and make sure it opens up in full screen mode. Full screen. There we go. All right, let's try this again. Still don't really like how that's working. Okay, let's wait, the last option is I could just make this not full screen, and then when I open it, there we go. That's how it should work, just like that. Okay, so you can see the current progress I have already. This is what the world looks like. Preliminary is like the preliminary version of the world. So you're this little robot guy here, and I have the speed up really fast right now, just because I was testing out how far you can go in the world. So right, everything's procedurally generated, and it's actually all infinite. The last thing I was working on was getting the trees to be selected. So you can see, like, when you hover your mouse over the trees, they're selected, and if you click, it deletes the trees. So that'll be useful for the resource collection and a lot of other things. So I was just working on that basic functionality there. If you're here, just let me know in the chat, so I know who's watching, and then I could give any questions. Just let me know. Yeah, so see, right now I can basically just I can select trees, I can move them around. So basically, you're this little robot guy. His name's Robo, and you can explore this infinite world. And the whole premise of the game is you could either help humanity, or you could destroy the world. You could take over the world. Sorry, I was getting a FaceTime there. My dad was actually calling. Yeah, so you could explore the world. There's procedurally generated trees and everything like that. I could zoom way out. Actually, I'll show you how the world works here. So there's the different bunches of trees, and when I move around, it generates the world, and it's all being generated in real time. And it's actually 4K right now, and it's running at 60 frames per second, and probably much higher than 60 frames, but right now it's capped at 60 FPS. So yeah, that's the world generation that I've been able to achieve, and I'm really excited about how it looks. Really good performance. I've gone through a lot of different iterations in regarding to the world generation, and there'll probably be more changes in the future. You can see I'm moving around extremely fast right now, and that's just because I was testing out. I was trying to see if the world generation could keep up with the fast movement of the character. Yeah, so basically the point of the game, like I was saying, is you can either help humanity or destroy humanity, or you can choose to ignore humanity, and it'll kind of be a lot like Factorio, a lot like Minecraft. In a way, I want it to be unique, of course. I don't want to be rebuilding those games that already exist. Okay, I got a little bit of lag here, but I'm not sure if that's just because of my screen recording software in the background. But that would be potentially an issue. There may potentially be more issues with performance in the future that I might have to optimize. But right now, my goal is to get a working prototype done as soon as possible. So basically, like, I want it to be like you could build automated systems and factories and things like that, because in order to do whatever you want to do in the world, you have to have resources to build whatever you want. Like, if you want to build more robots to help you collect more resources, then you're going to need to mine like iron and copper, stone, trees, all of that, like normal crafting system. But I want to keep the crafting system really simple, yet really powerful. So I want to give the player certain tools that they could use, and then those tools, when you combine them in certain ways, it really compounds the effect. So another thing I've done is I have 2 different character movements complete now. I have, so this is just the basic kinematic 2D movement with just WASD on the keyboard. And I've been debating whether or not I want the game to be a third-person view like this, or if I want it to be like a complete colony simulation game where you're not connected to a character. But I kind of like the idea of having you be the actual main robot character. And then you'll have your helper robots do all of the other menial tasks, so that way you don't have to be collecting all the resources yourself. That's the idea for the game. So like, these are little prototype vehicle robots that you can move around, and it has pathfinding, you can avoid obstacles and things like that. And everything is rendered in 3D, and then I export it out into 2D. So I think I really like how this feels. It really feels like Age of Empires or something like that. So like I could even, well, let me actually slow down my character speed here. So I could do that by just going into my, let's see, I think I literally just called it camera body. And I have the speed cranked up really high. So let me I'll delete 2 zeros. That might be too slow. We'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, that's way too slow. 1 more 0. That should be fine. Yeah, so that'll probably be like more of the speed that you would travel at in the game. And so I could like select these 2 robots here, and they could travel along with me, like that. I don't know if I want them to go somewhere else. And then say like in the game I want to harvest these trees here, I could take one of the robots and basically tell it to harvest the tree. It won't do that yet, that's still something I need to work on. But with all the pathfinding already figured out, I think that's definitely something that I could implement. So basically you would select your characters like this, and select a tree. They would start harvesting that tree, and I need to figure out where I want the inventory to actually go. I was thinking about having the inventory just go inside of the main robot guy here. Like maybe he has some sort of matter, I don't know what it would be, but like, I don't know, maybe he could store infinite inventory inside of him. I don't think that's too much of a stretch. Or maybe they just deposit the resources into like a storage bin. And once you build an initial storage bin, you just tell them, okay, these 2 robots collect this and put the tree into that storage bin. And then when I'm ready to use that resource, me, the robot, or you, the robot, can run over to that bin and click on the bin and collect all the items from that bin. And then you could build those items wherever you want. And that's kind of how I want the structure really to work. Looks like I lost one of the robot guys. So obviously he'll need to have some sort of ghosting feature where if he goes behind a tree, or I guess it goes behind a tree, then you'll be able to see it. And I did have that working for the main character at one point. I don't know if I have that guy. Yeah, so right now he's just a typical Y sort. When the Y position goes below or above the Y position for the tree, then he shows up like you normally would have in a 2D game. So the other feature I already have implemented is the basic solar charging. And yeah, so you can see here the solar charger has a gauge on it, and that represents how much electricity the solar panel will have the charger will have with the solar panels connected to it. So like here's a blank one that doesn't have any solar panels on it. All you do is you build a solar panel, and it recognizes that there's more power going into it, and that increases the amount of charge on the wireless charger here. And then you could take one of your robots and move him onto the charger, and he'll charge. So you can see the charger turn green, And now actually the battery indicator on the robot will start charging. So all the robots, if they can move, they'll be battery powered. There'll probably be other robots that don't move, and you'll have to connect them, hardwire them to the power grid. But any mobile robot will be able to charge in this way. And for these devlogs, I don't want to give away all of what's going to happen in the game because I want the game to still be interesting for players to play, but because I'm still so early on in the development, I'm considering myself 5% done right now with the game. So yeah, there's quite a long ways to go. Yeah, so alpha I really want to have done by the middle of summer. That's the goal. And I'm just getting to all the different building blocks I need to make it work right now. I'm making sure I'm even able to do it. But I mean, right now it's running really smoothly, and you could travel really far. So that's looking good. So the next step that I'm working on now is trying to get the inventory collection system working correctly. So I have the trees here so you could delete the trees, but nothing really happens when you delete a tree. Also, the trees will need like, well, it's working fine right now, but one annoying thing that I don't like about the gameplay that I'm debating on fixing right now or just putting it off till later is the position you actually click on the tree to select it. I'm not sure if this is like a big issue or if I'm overthinking it, but in order to select a tree, like see how I'm on the trunk of the tree now. Actually, yeah, you can see my mouse. I'm on the trunk of the tree now, but it doesn't select until I get to about in the middle position of the tree. And that's something I've really kind of struggled with, and I'm not sure if I really care that much about it. It'd be nice if you could click on the whole tree, but you do get pretty good feedback when the tree turns white and you know that you're hovering over it, and you can delete it. So, I don't know. I'll probably have to wait to fix that until later. And so, further on in development, when I get it working a little bit better, all these trees will be being added to the inventory system of the robot. And it'll collect them probably with a laser. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So a laser will shoot out of the robot and collect the trees, and then that would give you basically wood and probably a sapling, so you could replant the trees as well. So you could choose to like replant the forest if you want to, or you could choose not to. It depends on how you want to play. I really want the game to be really open-ended and kind of like, I don't know, you could just do whatever you want to do really. You could be a good robot or you could be a bad robot. So I think that's going to be the fun part of the game. So you could choose to destroy the world just for fun, because why not? Because everybody likes destroying stuff, or you could choose to help the world. So I need to have a system where that collects the trees, and when you collect the trees, it adds to the inventory system. And I think what I'm going to do for the inventory system is you won't actually have... I want to keep the inventory system really simple. Because a lot of crafting games, like, it's really complicated. I want to make it, like I said, simple. So you'll probably just have a bar on top. It'll say, you have this much wood, this much stone, this much iron, this much copper, maybe gold. I'm not sure, but there'll only be like maybe 10 fundamental resources. And with those 10 fundamental resources, you could build whatever. Instead of it being like in Minecraft, where it's like you place the items in a positioning for them, for the object you want to make. It's just like if you've researched metals, you could build something with metal if you have enough iron ore, like that. So yeah, so if you're new to the stream here, I'm just doing an overview of my game Exploratory. It's an infinite procedurally generated game world, and I'll show you zoomed out here. This was a big thing that I was really proud of getting to work. no lag and really zoomed out 4K high definition just view, I guess. So yeah, so right now it's running at getting a little bit of lag, but not too bad. I think my screen sharing software really affects the performance a little bit, but I wanted to be able to, so you could like zoom out like this far and see your automated systems, kind of like how in Factorio you could do that. I got these robots, just prototype robots. The look will obviously change. I was just making sure I could get them to rotate correctly because it is a 2D game, so I had to render out each angle of the sprite, so you can see it when it moves around. It actually rotates in the correct way. A little jerky, but I think that's fine. I don't need to have too high of a resolution really, because I'm not worried about the game being super realistic. I want it to be fairly symbolic of what's kind of happening. That way I don't have to deal with any uncanny valley, things like that. But yeah, okay, so you can see this robot here is fully charged now. So if I tell him to move around, he can move around. I guess I could show off some of the pathfinding features that I've added as well. So let's do that. So I'll go into my world here. And the thing about my world is that it's almost all procedurally generated. So really there's like nothing to see in the editor. It's just kind of a weird feeling. So like if I delete all the things I just added for my debugging purposes, so like this is what it looks like. This is just the world. No tiles or anything. So it will be essentially 100% procedurally generated, and it already is. So like if I play it, everything just procedurally generates, and it's really fast too. So yeah, let me add some characters and I'll show off the pathfinding. So I have these rolling robots, so I'm calling them, and if I just duplicate them, and I'll just move them over 128, actually 64 times 4. I'll just add a few of these robots. Plus 64. And you get enough of them so you can actually see them avoiding each other and running around each other. And I can even do group pathfinding as well. I did have this game fairly... I got pretty far on the original version. But I did scrap that completely and start over from scratch because I wanted to make the game a lot more modular. It got to the point where the code was just a big spaghetti code mess. Let's make sure I didn't... Yeah, I think I made 2 there. So it's based on a 64 by 128 grid. I'll have to figure out how to increase the resolution of the pathfinding without it like really slowing down everything. Okay, I'll add a few more. I don't really know of a better way to add them than just to do them manually. Well, I could just click with my mouse. That is an option. Did I stack one? Make sure I didn't stack any of them. I don't know where that one is. Oh well, it's fine. Let me find the last one. There it is. Okay. Add 64 again. Oh, did I times it by 64? I might have times it by 64. I think I did. Yeah, there it is. Let's divide it by 64. And I'll add 128. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'll add 2 more. So the game uses A-star pathfinding. My own custom A-star. Well, I'm using Godot's A-star, built-in A-star, but my own custom version of it. Okay, 1 more. Okay, there we go. Now I'll play the game. Okay, so now you can see I have all the little robot guys there. And you can't see when they're selected yet, but you will be able to see like when it'll highlight when you selected them. So like this guy here, he highlights. So I didn't know I had both of them selected, but I'll line them all up here, and then we will. I'll do some pathfinding, and you can see how that works. So let me try to get them all lined up. I'll probably make the grid a little bit more pronounced in the game. They're also probably going to stack kind of weird right now. I'm going to get them to line up better. So they're all facing this direction. Because right now I can't tell exactly where to click to get them to go to the exact spot I want. They kind of just go to the area that I'm trying to get them to go to. It's because I can't really see the grid very well. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. I've been working on this game since last October. That's when I started, and I've been pretty much working on it almost full time, really. I took a couple of breaks, but yeah, so I'm thinking about a year of work to get it to the alpha stage. And I'm basically doing it all on my own. With a lot of help from the Godot community. Very helpful people in the Discord there. Yeah, so here we go. I got them all lined up now. So I'll take this robot actually. And you can see like, so if I go to here and I want to go around this line of my prototype robot, rolling robots, he'll actually just go right around like that. And if I like open up a hole, you'll see he'll just go right through that hole. Same with this guy. I think that's pretty cool. So now I basically have that movement figured out. So any character that I make in the future will have that same movement. I don't really have to rewrite all that again. I can just take that scene and just change some of the features with that scene and just have that base pathfinding movement already figured out. I can even do group movements. So if I select a few of them, they'll all move together and they won't stack on top of each other. I was playing Age of Empires last night to try to get some inspiration with the movement. And I noticed in Age of Empires, like say I have two guys like this and I select both of them, they maintain their same distance apart from each other. Whereas mine, they just go directly to that point. In Age of Empires, the developers made it so the players stay separate, which kind of makes sense for it to do that. I will definitely focus more on that in the future, not right now, because I want to make sure the core gameplay is good and fun. Then I'll do all the tweaks and try to fix things, and most likely I'll be rewriting the pathfinding a lot. I can imagine there's a lot of room for improvement with the pathfinding. Like right now, each unit uses its own pathfinding system. They're all identical copies of the same pathfinding system, but each one calculates it out itself, each robot. So it's a lot of processing to find the path. Whereas I think it's possible to have like maybe this entire map that I have now already calculated out. So the pathfinding for that entire, like anywhere I could see on the screen is figured out already. And then all the units share the pathfinding coordinates. Whereas right now, each one just recalculates the pathfinding. Each time I go to a new spot, it recalculates everything. And that's just, you can see like if I select all of them, there'll be like a half-second lag. See that? Which also I noticed in Age of Empires, it did have that lag when I selected a lot of characters. So maybe that's not bad. I know what Tynan Sylvester, the developer of RimWorld, what he did, what it looks like he did, or his programmer, or I don't know who programmed it, but it looks like the character has like a fake, it goes to where you click initially while it's finding the path in the background, then it follows the path. So it kind of tricks you to give you that immediate feedback without having to like feel like there's a delay, if that makes sense. So like there, it's like I click, then it goes, which is really not bad. You can see this one here, these two didn't move at all, and that's because they were in the middle of the pack and it did not find a path because it was stuck in the middle. That's another thing. It'll probably have to find a path after each one moves, so like basically delay the path finding a little bit longer, so like the ones in the middle won't get stuck. That's how the path finding works. It's been a lot. I spent a lot of time on the path finding. It's been a ton of work, but I'm super happy with how they move. I think it's really satisfying to move the characters around the scene. Their range also isn't the best. So like if I select these two and I tell it to go to this side of the map here, so I'll move my little robot guy over here, select them again, they'll only go that far. So that's another issue. That's a more urgent issue to fix, because I would love to have it so it's like you could move it further. I don't know. It just depends. Maybe they have a range, and that's fine, because it'll be hard. I don't want you to be like, I don't want to be able to select a character. Well, maybe I can. I don't know. I have to figure this out, and this will come with basically just testing the game. Like, say I'm on the complete other side of the map. Should I be able to move a guy from here all the way up to there? I don't know if that really makes sense. Maybe it does, because maybe I could just basically say the robots wirelessly communicate with each other, and you can control anything anywhere. I guess you have to go to it to see it first, then you'd select it, then you could travel and tell it to go to that location, which maybe that's not that bad. You could also tell that you could drive on the water. You're definitely not supposed to be able to drive on the water. That's an easy fix. I just have to add those positions as do not travel positions to the A-star pathfinding. Maybe I'll just do that right now. That's an easy fix. So I just have to go into my pathfinding scene here. You get a little sneak peek of how it works. Go into my script, and so I could say, let's see, here's my pathfinding script. Okay, so when I'm looking for obstacles here. Okay, so I need to say basically if world dot, I gotta remember what the name of the tiles were. Okay, world tiles. Oops. It's a lot of code already. Gets a little bit overwhelming. So tile map. So I gotta check the tile map to see if the tile map is water, essentially. And if it's water, say don't go there. Okay, so let's go back to my script here. This one. So if tile map dot, oh, not tile map. Tile, it's probably, did I call it tile map? Probably not the best idea because it's called tile map. Well, I call it tile map. So if tile map dot get cell v, and it'll be vector 2 xy, and so if get cell vector 2 equals 0, then I'll add this obstacle right, append that position. Let's see, what is the error I'm getting here? Tile map isn't, oh, world dot tile map. Okay, and if this is a miracle, it'll work first try. I'm going to turn on my debugging features here. This will show all the points. so you can see how it's actually calculating it out. Okay, so that's showing the range of the character. So like if I click here now, okay, so here's what the issue is. That tile there is actually not 0. So I need to check to see what position that tile is. So world tile, because I have, okay, 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, 3. I'll say if it's less than 4. So I'll check to see if the tile is less than 4. Where was that? How come I can't find that? Here we go. So not if it's equal to 0, if it's less than or equal to 4. Because I have different levels of water. So it goes from 0 up to 4, then it hits sand, and that's the 5th tile in the tile map. Let's try it now. Whoa. Okay. So you can see there, I think what it did was it's including the sand. So it freaked out because it said I'm on sand and I can't be on sand. So just less than 4. Let's see if that works. There. Okay, and you can notice there's a weird offset. And I'm not... Okay, here's why. All right, this gets really frustrating when I, not in a bad way, but like it becomes a lot of work because I have to, actually maybe it's not that bad. All I need to do is add the player position because it kept, it got confused and it thought the, well, I have to account for the player's position. So I just have to add the player's position. All right, let's cross our fingers. Okay. Huh. I don't know what it's kind of working. I wonder... I don't... Okay. I can't tell if it's just offset. I think it is just offset. Because that looks like it's there. Ooh. This is why pathfinding is so difficult. It's not easy at all. I don't know if I could fix this on the live stream because it's just, that just might be really boring to watch me struggle with that for hours. Because I could literally spend hours on it. It seems to be kind of following path, but there it's kind of weird. I don't know why it's like going into the water like that. Oh. I'm gonna keep traveling up to see what happens. The only thing I can think of is maybe because my character's not starting on 0, 0. Maybe I'll do that. I'll get a, I'll only have one guy in my scene. So I'll delete all the other rolling robots. And just put the only one right in the middle. So that way I can take out any other factors that I'm not really prepared for. So here just go to 0, 0. And even this... what am I looking for? Transform. I'll move that one over. Okay, so now I have just, so this robot here will not look exactly like the main character. It's just, I haven't updated the sprite yet. only the main character will be this copper, almost egg-shaped robot. This will be like more like this shape here. Okay, so let's see if this is any different. You can tell, okay, so it's doing the exact same thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into my code and look at it a little bit closer and see if there's anything that stands out. So if the tile map, if it's less than 4, if the tile map, get the cell, if it's less, x and y is less than 4. Yeah, so this is my first live devlog. I'm not sure how many live devlogs I'll do. I mean, if you like it, give it a thumbs up so I know. If you think it's just kind of slow and boring, then I'll just do more of like weekly devlogs and try to make them really entertaining and fun to watch and show maybe a lot more behind the scenes of kind of what's actually going on with the code, where I'm not having to actually struggle with it as much during the live stream. I'm also trying to build up my watch time as well, for YouTube, for the YouTube algorithm, because right now it's like starting a new channel is pretty hard, but I think what I'll do is, I don't know, I'm trying to be very consistent with this channel. So I've been making the game since October, but as I'm getting closer to the release date, or since I actually have a release date planned, I wouldn't say I'm that close to it yet. That's why I'm starting to do more videos. I'm trying to get better at my videos as well. So yeah, so let's see kind of, for anyone that's new to the stream, I'll jump back into the game and kind of show you what it looks like again. So you have your different characters and you can move around. The dots right now are just because I am doing a lot of debugging, and you can take away some trees like this, and anytime you click, the trees delete like that, and you can collect resources and build your base. And then as a robot, you could either help humanity by building like better automated systems for the people that live in this world, or you could I guess you could enslave all the people if you really want to, and make them your workers, or you could just choose to ignore the people. I wanted to be able to be very memeable, if that makes sense. So you could kind of do just fun, outrageous things if you want to. Things you couldn't do in the real world, because that's what makes games fun, is basically doing things you wouldn't normally be able to do. And so what better way to do that than to be a basically all-powerful robot. So that's kind of the idea there. So this one here, actually you could tell, here's an interesting thing, talking about modularity in the game. Just by, I was really only focused on changing the pathfinding for this character, but it actually, because it shares the same script for the pathfinding, this one got updated as well. And you can see where the flaw is kind of with the optimization. Right now it only sees that square there, whereas if I click this one and find its path, it finds its own square. So why not share those points? The only reason I'm not doing that is because I don't know how to do that. I would love to do it, and I fairly confident I could figure it out. It's just a matter of time, because it's pathfinding hasn't been easy. I'm impressed I've gotten as far as I have already. Yeah, so it's using A-star pathfinding algorithm, and it goes along basically those points there. Actually, I'll turn on the navigation so you can see the navigation as well. So you just go to debug and visible navigation, and that'll show the paths for the characters. So if I select this guy, I see there's its path. Pretty simple like that. Or same with this one here. See, it shows its path. I'll zoom in here so we can see a little bit better. So select this guy, and yeah, feel free to subscribe too. My goal, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal right now. I'm trying to have a realistic goal, and that's pretty high. But some people say it could take a year to get to 1,000. But yeah, that's my goal. I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers before I launch the game. Yeah, feel free to like the video as well. Every little bit helps the YouTube algorithm. Basically all YouTube wants to know is, do people like the videos? And the only way they know that is if people like or subscribe. Watch time helps as well. It looks like some of you are hanging around, so that's great. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you're here on this Sunday, even during Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I know that probably the rest of the world doesn't care about the Super Bowl. I'm in the United States, so a lot of people care about it. Not the biggest football fan, but it's fine. It's okay. I appreciate it, I guess. So definitely liking and subscribing will help. I hate to have to say that, but yeah, that'll definitely help with the YouTube algorithm. So I don't know if I'm trying to decide if I want to jump into figuring that out. I'll try a little bit longer. Let's do that. Let's see if I can fix this. Okay. So it's testing the tiles. So it has its range here for the X and Y direction. That gives it the square of dots. And it's testing to see if the current tile, if vector 2, the only thing I think is maybe it's because of my parentheses. No, that shouldn't be it. Yeah, it should add those vectors just fine. So I have the X and Y plus the player map X and player map Y, and that'll append. Okay, so maybe the obstacle array is global. Maybe that's the issue. A lot of times it's just like change it from plus to minus, delete the global coordinates, or add the global coordinates. It's a lot of guessing. I hate that it's a lot of guessing, but that's how I've been able to get it to work. Yeah, so let's try that. Let's see what that will do. Okay. Oh. So obviously that did not help. Because it's not registering that square for whatever reason. So I'll undo that. I mean, could it be as simple as being less than 3? I should be able to travel on the water now. That's my prediction. Yep. So now I can travel on the water until I get to... Actually, it'd be pretty far, because you can see all this water here is the same color. It would take to about... Yeah, okay, so it's not the tile issue. I know that now. Definitely tile 4 is fine. The only other thing I can think about is maybe my conversion from the Cartesian coordinates to isometric is messing it up. And that was a big decision I had to make early on, was do I want to do a orthographic or Cartesian view for the world, or do I want it to be isometric? And because the Cartesian view didn't give that great of a view of the world, like it didn't look like you were looking far out into the distance. That's why I switched to the isometric view, because it looks a lot like, it looks like you're looks more horizontal than just straight down. And I didn't really want it to look straight down, because the whole point is like exploring and things like that. Yeah, and this pathfinding code is very meaty. It's dense. Okay, world.tilemap.getCellV. Okay, so another thing that I would like to do is I could just print out what it's appending. That's how I do a lot of my debugging. I say, what on earth is even adding to the array? Like, what is that value? So let's see. Okay, I don't need it to go to full screen anymore. So I did start this game out in Unity, but I just didn't end up being a fan of Unity. I'm a huge fan of Blender, which is another open source software, and because I was such a fan of the open source software, I decided to try Godot, since it's open source and free, and I really ended up liking it a lot. Very good. I mean, I haven't had anything that I needed to do that I couldn't do yet, basically. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do it. So I contribute to Godot, since it is free. I think to become a contributor, it's like $5 a month. So I recommend, if you use Godot, feel free to contribute to them, because they do such a great job. And they can't just work for free. They could, but I feel like it's good to pay back. If I'm gonna be using it, if I'm making a commercial game, then $5 a month is really not bad at all. So I think it's a good thing just to support the open source community. Really great community of people. Okay, so let's print that out now. It's not full screen, so I can see it, and let's see what it's doing. It's gonna print out a lot, because it's gonna print out the entire map. So let's see. I don't know if it's gonna help that much, because it's just a lot of points. Yeah, feel free to talk in the chat. That way I know what you guys are thinking, and if you have any questions, or if you're just watching, that's fine. You don't have to talk. No pressure. Hopefully you could pick up some good tips and tricks while you're watching. I know this is a lot of code. It's kind of hard to like exactly pick out what everything's doing, but yeah. So let's see here. So right now I'm trying to fix my path finding for the robots, because I'm trying to get them to not be able to walk on the water, essentially. Because you can see right now when I click play, if I take my little robot guy, it's kind of finding the outline of the path for the water, but it's not really doing it correctly, and I'm not sure why. I have no idea why it is doing that. Yeah, motivation's always a hard thing to do. That's what I found a lot in the game dev community. People really want to make a game, but they struggle with the motivation. And I would say if I was to give advice on that, it's I learned this from I've watched a lot of game dev videos on YouTube. That helps if you just watch game dev videos. But there's one guy who is, I don't remember his name, but he made that I think it's called the One Tree. It's like a game about a fox. He's one of Thomas Brush's friends, and he says just basically never have a 0% day. And I know it's easy to say that, but like if you just could make something, and that'll kind of build the habit of getting into it. So you could even start really tiny and just say, I'm gonna go through this tutorial series and just like set a goal to like just watch one video and try to just basically start very small is what I would say. Start small and just try to get a little bit done, and then you get in the habit and it'll start feeling good, because once you're able to get into like the cycle of like you do something and then it feels cool that you're able to do it, then that will increase the motivation. I would also say another thing is, if you're in a comfortable spot in life, that is really hard to be motivated to do stuff. There's another game dev guy I watch, Ponty Pants. He's making Punch-a-Bunch, if you've seen that game. And he was recommending like you have to be, it really helps to be uncomfortable to be motivated. So like my situation is, I'm currently married right now. We don't have any kids or anything, but like this is my job. I do 3D printing. I'm not sure if you can see, I have a 3D printer going in the background. So like I do 3D printing stuff, and that helps me pay the bills. Like I teach lessons and like make stuff for 3D printing, and so that's what I do kind of like as my job. But like if this game is not a success, then like I have to get an engineering job like I had before, and I really don't want to do that. So that's why it's like having like the necessity to like really have to do something is probably life's biggest motivator. So like if you're still living at your parents', or I don't know, if you're working a comfortable job, then it's easy to be unmotivated. Because why? Like there's no real reason, and it's even human nature too. Like if you think about it from a survival standpoint, our bodies want to do like the least amount possible. Like if you imagine like a lion in the savannah, it's gonna just chillax until it has to eat. I said chillax. Throwback word. It'll just relax until it has to go get food. So yeah, and that's great. If you're young, that's awesome, because you have so much time. So just my advice again would be just to explore as many different things as possible, because you never know what you like. Like there's no point of like picking a career and like only ever doing that, in my opinion. I've done a lot of different things, and you basically have to just keep trying different things until you find what you like. And you'll know, because if you like doing it, then you like doing it. And yeah, if you don't like doing it, then it's hard. But yeah, if you're still young, then just kind of mess around, try to make a simple platformer, or maybe Pong, even really simple. Just, I don't know, just try to throw something on the screen and just start there, and just, yeah. So that's my little advice. I watch a lot of like motivational things, like Gary V. If you know who Gary V is, highly recommend. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. All right, let's get back into the development here. Got a little philosophical rant, but I like to talk about that type of stuff. I've had to deal with all that on my own and try to figure out what do I want to do and all of that stuff. That's just life. We are all in that same boat. Okay, so let's see. Where was I at again? Okay, so I'm gonna ignore the water for now. So that's what I'll do. So let's see. Yeah, so I'm just gonna comment this out here, and I'll also comment out my debugging stuff. Don't need to work on that. Okay. Okay, so one thing I could add that's a little bit more visual for you guys is I could add the rock tiles. So this is the most recent thing I've been working on. So in the game, you'll be able to collect resources, of course, and one of those resources will be stone or iron ore or copper ore, all of that. So I need to be able to spawn some rocks in the scene. So that's all I'll do right now. I think I could do that in the live stream. Okay. Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to have rocks sporadically in the scene, kind of how the trees are going now. So let's add that feature. That should be pretty quick. I think I already started a little bit. Okay, so I have my rock tiles, and I will add the rock tiles here. Already var rock tiles, and that's going to be just rock tiles. Okay, and I'll need another noise map here. So I'll add my rock noise map. And I'll set how I want my rock to be. This is my pump up song. This is by Winter Garden. That's the name of the band. They don't usually do rock music. Actually, this is kind of fitting to have the rock music in the background. So I'm just setting my noise map here. And with the noise map, I could choose the period, which would probably be really small, maybe even 50. I love this music. I think you're hearing the same music as me. I'm actually not positive you're hearing the same music as me. Right now I'm hearing rock guitar music, basically. If you're not, then it's awkward. Okay, so I set the seed for here. I'll just do 4. Okay. And okay. That's good. Okay, so now I go to my generate world function, and it should be after generate the grass. It should be the same as essentially generating the grass. No, it's not. It'd be the same as generating it'll be just like generating the forest, I guess. So I copy and paste the forest code. But instead of it being the forest value, it's going to be the rock value. Okay, so that'll be actually okay. So if rock value is greater than the rock threshold, I don't need this one. Rock tiles. It's gonna scream at me a little bit because I don't have all my code set up, all the variables in there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I just need to make my rock value. Rock value equals rock dot get noise 2D x prime y prime. Okay, and then I need to set my rock threshold. Okay. Rock. Does threshold have 2 H's? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. I'll just make it consistent. And the threshold will be 0. So if the noise map is above 0, it'll create a rock. I think that should do it. I want to make sure I comment my code so I don't get all I don't forget what everything does. Okay, so that should create a ton of rocks everywhere and on top of other things, and it should be really messy. That's my prediction. Yeah, exactly. So, pretty good though, really, for first try. There's some rocks here. I need to speed up my character again. This is why I had my character so fast before. Just literally make it an order of magnitude faster. Okay. Now I can just whip around. Yeah, so there's the rocks. It's okay. The shadows are kind of weird. Oh, you know what it might be? I think it's displaying the same rock. Is that the same rock tile? I can't even tell. Well, that just means I need to make the rock tiles a little bit more unique because it just looks like the same. Let's see. It's actually kind of hard to tell if it's repeating or not. My music stopped on my end. That means we've listened to the entire album. So I'm going to reset my music here. I don't know what, like, I never use Apple Music. It just does that. All right. 1 second here. I need to pull up that music again. Okay. Now it should be playing again. I don't like to not have music. And this is, I like playing instrumental music while I'm programming, because if there's any vocals, I just cannot focus on my programming. Oh, I need to turn the screen back on. There we go. Yeah, so you should be hearing the music and my voice. And hopefully the music's not too loud. Let me know if the music's too loud and I can turn it down. Okay. Okay, so I changed the speed of that. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to make it so if there are trees in that location, don't create the rocks. So go down to my rock creation. Okay, so here's my rock generation. I just need to say, I could literally just test. Let's try that. And get, and should be giving me some. There we go. And tree tiles dot get cell v x prime y prime. So I'm just gonna test to see if the tree tile is, if it's a tree. So if it's not equal to -1. Actually, if it is equal, if it is equal to -1, that means there's no tree there. That way it shouldn't be stacking on itself. Oh. Am I missing? Get cell v on tile map. Oh. Vector 2. There we go. That should work now. Let's see how that looks. There we go. I like that. See that? So now there's still rocks in the forest. there are way too many rocks. That just looks weird. Oh, check this out. So if right now when it's generating the rocks, it doesn't delete the rocks as it leaves. And that's okay if the world is small. But with an infinite world, it needs to turn off those tiles. Otherwise, it'll just be trying to render those tile sprites, and it'll bog down once there's like 10,000 tiles in the scene. So that's a really easy solution. All I do is this. I just say if it's out of range, turn off that tile. And this is why the tile maps are so important in this project, because without it, then it would really, like any other way, would make it run really slowly. So now if I zoom out, you can see all the rocks disappear, just like magic, and they reappear. I was very excited when I got this to work. This was a big day. Because world generation is, and I'll probably end up changing it, unfortunately, but world generation, not the easiest thing in the world. Everyone says use chunks, but I'm not sure what chunks even are, or how to use chunks, but my method's working fine for now. The only time it doesn't work, let's see if I can get it to crash here. I don't know if I can get it to crash on stream. If I push it, yeah, it's not, which is good. It's good that I can't get it to crash. Oh, there it goes, see? That's a little glitch there, where it'll create some land where it's not supposed to. It's not a really big issue because you'll never be able to zoom out this far. In the real game, you'll only be able to zoom out this far here. That's the max you'll be able to zoom out. And you won't be able to move as fast, which would also help. But it'll mess up and create some tiles like not where it's supposed to. But if I just go over it and back, it self-corrects itself, which I think is kind of a cool feature. That I wasn't really even trying to make. I wasn't trying to make it do that, but it does. So that's fine. Yeah, feel free to ask some more questions. I like answering your guys' questions. It's fun. Q&A is pretty fun. Curious what you guys are doing. If you yourself are making games, or how long you've been using Godot. If you've been using Godot, that'd be interesting to know. I guess I'm asking you guys questions. So now I need to. There are too many rocks. So what I'll do is I'll change this value. And let's see, are my rock tiles? How am I doing this? Okay, so I think they are repeating because my rock tiles are individual tiles. So what I need to do is, instead of calling out this here, actually, how could I do that? Okay, yeah. Right now I'm calling out. Yeah, so right now I'm always setting it to 0. But what I need to do is, doesn't really, the rock patches will contain the same amount of rocks. So it's okay if I use a random value there. But I'll change this to set cell V. And delete all this. And I will add vector 2 here. And I'll set it to Randy 4. So now that should now make the rocks random. Let's see if that worked. Oh, there also should be a lot. Now I don't see any rocks. That's not right. Oh, that's fine. Okay. should be randomized now. And I should be able to tell if it's randomized. So if I look at, yeah, so there, now it's definitely different. So this rock patch here is different than that rock patch. And I guess when you click on the rocks, obviously you need to be able to collect the rocks. So right now you could collect the trees. If I just click a lot. I'll probably have to have some sort of like time frame where it collects trees where you can't just click and it will just instantly delete a tree. You need to have some bit of loading, basically. Yeah, so there's trees in the forest. That's perfectly fine. Don't see anything wrong. I mean, there's trees in the forest. There's rocks in the forest. I don't see anything wrong with that. All the graphics are very preliminary at this point. I'll be updating everything. That being said, I do like how the graphics look right now. I mean, the rocks look a little cheesy, but I think if I add some more variation to the ground cover and things like that, it'll look better. Also, I don't like how the rocks are. There's too many rocks, and they're not in tight enough clumps. I want there to be rocky areas. So all I need to do to fix that is go to, let's see, where's my ready function. So I set the rock period to 10. Does not need 8 octaves. 5 octaves would probably be fine. And then go back down to my rock. Actually, I need to change my rock threshold to negative 0.2. Actually, no. Positive 0.2. That means it'll only add the rocks if it's past a certain threshold. And the threshold's from negative 0.5 to positive 0.5. So now I'm just limiting it to 0.2 to 0.5. That's where we'll add rocks. Let's test that out. Okay, a little bit better. You know, I kind of think that's okay for now. I'm okay with that. Okay, so now I want it to be so if you click on a rock, it'll delete the rock. And that's really easy to add. It's easy to add that. It's hard to add the entire inventory system on top of that. So that'll probably be on highlight and collect. Okay, and it'll just be the same as this code. If you left click and it's a rock, then set the rock to 0. Easy as that. Well, maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon. This is why is it not working? If you left click and the rock tile is 0, there's the issue. If the rock tile is greater than negative 1, because my rock tiles go from 0 to 4, I think. Nope. Okay, it's still not working for whatever reason. Highlight and collect. When is this function called? Okay, that's called every frame. If left click and rock tiles at the mouse position. Okay, here this might be the issue. That should be fine. I'm left clicking on it. Trees work fine. Oh, that one worked. Oh. So I figured out what it is working, but it's, I have to click a little bit above the tiles for some reason. Let's see where the threshold. Let's just find one rock by itself. This is why I need to add like a debugging layer where I can actually see the tiles more. So if I click, I'm clicking, and I go up. So I'm clicking on the rock and it's not deleting. It takes to about there for it to actually delete. And it's probably just because my... Okay, let's see. Okay, I think what I did is I shifted everything up. So I need to shift up this -32. Okay, let's see if that works now. Yeah, there we go. That feels better. So now it's exactly where the rocks are. So now we can collect rocks. Collect rocks. Not really collecting the rocks yet, of course. But it wouldn't really be it wouldn't really be that hard to make it collect rocks, because all I need to do is add a variable, and every time I click on a rock, it just adds to the rock variable. Maybe I'll do that just for fun, just to see that work. It'll be fun just to be able to add inventory already, because why not? So I'll add that on my canvas layer here. And I'll open that up. Have my different labels. Alright, so let's duplicate this. Okay, I'll call this rock inventory. Okay. If this song seems random, that's because it's from Winter Gardens, or Martin Mullen's YouTube channel, where he's building a marble machine. Kind of random, but it's fun. It's fun watching his progress. I hope I can make videos as good as him. Eventually, I'm working on it. I know the live streams are probably not the most exciting, but hopefully if you're into Godot and Gamedev, then hopefully you can pick up some cool tips and things and see just get an interesting perspective from a different person to see how they approach making their games. And I think that's where the value is in these videos here. Okay, so I'm going to my custom font here. I'll make it much bigger. Oh, okay. So, quick tip here, speaking of quick tips, if you don't already know, I want to make the sub-resources unique. That way, when I change the settings, the size, it'll only change the size of that font there. Because it was sharing the same what do you call it? Sub-resources. Okay, so this will be called, I'll just call it rocks. That's going to change. I don't want that return. Not sure why I did that. There we go. So I have rocks, and I'll duplicate that, and I'll call it trees. Probably should have done the trees first. I really do like this song, even though it's a weird song. It's all about the journey and progressing along that journey. I just think that's cool. There's a long ways to go. I'm not sure what he said there actually. Music is the goal. That's the goal of his marble machine. Just kind of describing what this song is about. Okay, so trees and rocks, and I'll change the color. Outline color? No, it's not outline color. How do I change the color of a... Oh, great. A lot of times the fundamental things mess me up a little bit. There's just so many things to know. I'm not used to doing all of it. Color. Custom styles. Custom colors. There we go. Font color. Black. Actually, I can't have it. Actually, I'll do black with a white outline. And I don't see it. Custom colors. I'll make it almost black because I want to be able to still see it while I'm in this view here. Okay, I'm going to my script here. I'm going to go into my world actually first. I need to create a variable. So many variables. We got movement variables, map variables. I'll probably just add the tree variables here. Actually, I'll probably call it... I'll call it wood. Okay, got the wood variable, and I have rock. Okay. Rock already exists. Oh. Oh, okay. Guess I'll call it stone. This can be confusing. No, I'm not gonna call it stone. I'm gonna call it rock. I'm gonna change this to rock noise. That's gonna mess up everything. It's going to mess up this here. Oops. Rock noise. It's more accurate to what it actually is. Okay. And that should give me, I should throw some glitches somewhere. If I run it, it'll crash. There we go. Rock noise. Let's see if that'll work out. There we go. Okay, so that's good. I have rock noise instead of rock. I should change all of them to rock or to noise. Desert noise, jungle noise, forest noise. Rock and wood. So now when you highlight and collect, it will do rock plus equals rock. So that's true. And this will be rock. Tree isn't declared. Oh, declare tree. Let's go see what's happening here. Oh, I remember I called it wood. Now actually, if you're collecting a tree, you're going to collect more than one wood. So I'm going to call it 5. And this, all the values that will be tweaked in the future. Yeah, so there we go. So now it'll collect rock and wood, and I just have to show it up on my label here. So let's say rock inventory.text equals string get parent dot rock. Okay, and I'll do the same for tree or wood. I'm gonna call it wood inventory actually, to be more accurate. Okay, and I'll have to rename this to wood. Okay, double check to make sure that'll work. So now when I collect some tree or wood, it should add it to the list here. So let's see if that works. Yeah, there we go. So I can see we're adding rock or stone, whatever you want to call it. And if I collect a tree, then it's collecting a tree. Yeah, I like that. That's how I want it to work. And then if you want to build certain other things, then you'll have to it'll cost like, I don't know, 500 wood or 500 stone and like that. So yeah. So I'm probably gonna call it a day for today's live stream. I'm not sure if I'll do it again. If you want me to do it again, then feel free to subscribe and like the video. If I don't get that much traction, I'll stop doing the live streams. I like doing them. I think they're fun to do. But for sure, I'll be doing devlogs, and I'll try to make them as interesting and high quality as possible. It's a really hard balance between quality and quantity with YouTube. Definitely quality wins, of course. But I guess quality and consistency would be my goal. So, yeah. So, thanks everyone for stopping by, and take care.